Hi, and welcome to the Kid and Friends podcast. Today, I'm honored to sit down once again with Zen Master Thich Dieu Thien for our second conversation. He's the author of international bestseller, The Power of Awake, a book that guides readers on how to break free from the ego and live the awakened happiness always. In this episode, we go deeper into what it means to be truly awake, not just in theory, but in everyday life. Whether you're new to the path or already exploring it, this one's for people seeking clarity, peace, and purpose. How are you today? Thank you so much for your time again. I enjoyed our conversation so much. I think I told you last time I probably have done about 650 episodes. And one of the ones I've looked most forward to in a long time was the last conversation. And for the last few months since then, I really wanted to speak to you again. And so I appreciate you jumping on here with me.
Uh,
Um, last time we spoke, I talked about how I kind of fade in and out of, I wouldn't say enlightenment. I don't think I'm quite there yet, but I'm getting awake or more awake. And sometimes I'm there, sometimes I'm not there. It depends on really how my day's going. And there are times where I'll feel disconnected for a couple weeks at a time. Other times I'll feel like really in tune for days at a time. So I wanted to chat with you about what it means to be awakened and enlightened. And I know there's a few natures of what an enlightened one is. So I wanted to pick your brain and kind of get some ideas and have you elaborate on some of those things for me, because we really had a great conversation last time, but I left the conversation wanting to hear more from you. And I know I'm long-winded, and I'll slow it down in a second. But I've talked to a lot of people over 650 episodes, and you're one of the very few that I get a vibe from your presence just being in the conversation with you. So it's different than other people I've spoken to. So it kind of gave me a little bit of a longing and a wanting to have more of an in-depth conversation with you. And if you could just maybe just tell me what it means to be awakened for starters, because we live our lives with so many distractions that there really is no time for a lot of people to really put time aside, think about their life, and kind of go introspective, because I think most of the time it's going out instead of in.
Good question. Wow.
Yeah.
Truly, you have potential to become a Buddha, right?
I'm getting there. I'm not there yet, but I'm making baby steps.
Yes. But it's give you a chance to have a question. It's give you the motivation to looking forward.
Yes.
Enlightenment. When the moment I become enlightenment, I live in awake world 24/7. It's the
Yeah.
world no ego, no mind, body, the object of mind. It's in
Yeah.
quickly disappear. And from there, I live in a big world 24/7. And the world
Yeah.
have five natures appear. It's naturally is a wisdom. Can see everybody have capacity to wake up. I can see them very clear.
Yeah.
And the compassion arise. It's in true love appear. How to help people. And awaken
Yeah.
tool. Naturally the tool appear like awaken one when I become enlightened. It's like the mirror can reflect thousand people in front of me. I can see them as they are.
Yeah.
Exactly they are. And right
It,
there.
it is it kind of like we're walking around with disguises on as to who we are, and you can see through the disguise to who someone actually is.
Yes, I see something beyond that. I can
Yeah.
see something in each person, their personality, their awakened mind, their what blocked them to become a Buddha. I can see them exactly as they are. And then
Yeah.
their naturally awake tool arise. Each person different tool is naturally appear within myself. I don't prepare. Whenever
Yeah.
someone awaken, naturally can see things clear. And from there, each person the tool out and then gone. And another one, the tool out, gone.
Yeah.
A tool out, gone. Appear, but and then disappear. But remain awakened source.
Okay. Yeah. So like for me, sometimes it's like turning on a light switch and then turning it off. So like I spend moments where I feel really, really connected to myself, and other times I I I don't realize when I'm disconnected, if that makes more sense.
Do
So
you know why?
I'm aware of when I am connected, but I'm not aware when I'm disconnected.
Yes, because that moment is because that is not final state yet. That
Yeah.
is only in the when you are in awakened mind, still inside the body. You're still
Yeah.
aware. You're still aware everything happening around you. You awaken, but not fully awakened. When you awaken, you are not in and you are not out. You are in the
Okay.
soul, but you still everything inside clear, but you still outside. Because when you only aware, you only inside your body. But when you become
Yeah.
enlightenment, you become one with the universal and out, but in but out. And then this
And
one is clear.
as as far as the ego goes, a lot of people, when you speak to the average person, they're not quite sure what the term ego means. They think, when you hear the word ego, like somebody's ego got in the way. First thing you think of is, oh, they're self-centered. They only care about themselves. But I think it's much, much more than that, right?
That yes, ego not only about usually people will say, oh, selfish, I'm egotistical,
Yeah.
selfish. But no, ego is means sometimes even you practice in some kind of level and you still hold on to that. Still
Yeah.
ego. You let go, you hold on to the let go. You experience something, you hold on to something. That's still ego. As long as still ego exists, I am something.
Yeah.
That's still ego in different level. The more sometimes the
And
people practice, the more ego to disappear in different way. You know, it's appear in many different.
yeah.
And then when you
Well,
become
will it manifest itself a different way? If
yes,
so, let's say as part of my ego, I'm conceited, and I worry about my looks all the time, and I make it through that. That's not the end of my ego. It's just a part of it. Like, it's just a tiny little piece. Like, there's so much to the ego, and it sounds like the ego good and bad? Is it, or is it all? It's both.
both. It's a two side, good, bad, high, low. You
Yeah.
know, like that, two sizes, that's ego. But when you become enlightenment, no more ego. No more ego. You become
Right.
awakened. And
There's
then
no more good or bad.
no
It's in the
more.
middle.
Yes, not in the middle, it's beyond. Not about the
Okay.
middle, beyond.
So neither one of those affect you.
Yeah, yes, that like that.
Okay.
Because of that,
And
you avoid. But if you still
yeah,
hold your ego, you still pick the information right, wrong, good, bad, high. You still stuck inside the system. But when you
yeah.
become broken, you out the system. You break through the system. The system
All
no
right.
longer control you, and then you are free.
And so many people are controlled by the system. Like,
Yes.
and for me, this conversation and the thought process is, and I'm not sure if ever watched movies or anything before you became enlightened, or if that's even a thing you do. But there's a movie, Star Wars, and I'm sure you've heard of it. And there's Jedi's, and I've always identified with the Jedi since I was a little kid. And it's very much their attitude is that, like, there's no good or bad. They're kind of pushing it together. And for me, that's the way I can kind of process this conversation, is kind of put the two together. Like, you're not a Jedi, obviously, but like the the thought processes are the same, where you're not owned by the things that you own. You're not uh relationships are not controlling to you. The way you interact with others is more of a neutral stance on a lot of things. Am I getting all that right?
Mm, that not quite final. The
Okay.
final can become you can produce, you can operate five natures. Because
Yeah.
if you don't hold on to both sides, but you still in the middle, no, you are become awakened. From that
Yeah.
moment, you are free from the system, and from there, it's a five natures appear. You have to have that.
Yeah.
It's a wisdom, compassion, great vow, awakened tool, and serenity. That
Yeah.
have it appear, and then from there manifest, and to wake up all people around the world. That
And
is
do
the final moment.
do those five natures have to happen in a certain process? Like, is one before the other? Like
Only
obviously serenity at the end is probably the last one. but the other
Yes,
three in
final.
between 1 and 5, are they interchangeable, or they all have to go in a row?
And at that moment, five appear at the same time. When you become enlightened, five
Yeah.
natures appear at the same time, and then they're just moving naturally. Some
Yeah.
when it's a tool, when a compassion, right, wisdom is a naturally, it's the alternate. It's naturally. You don't need to.
Yeah.
It's appear natural, and
It all
from
comes together.
yes, they come
So,
together.
so for somebody who is looking to lose the ego and get rid of it, I would assume there's certain processes or steps you have to follow. Like, for example, I had a gentleman on the other day, and he studies Hinduism and Buddhism, and we were talking about how you can't just dabble in becoming awakened. You have to either put the effort in on a constant basis versus just saying, okay, Tuesday I'm gonna meditate, and then Friday I might write some journaling down. But it's a process that's every day, right?
Yes, process, but the most important, you have been awakened first. For example, some go back to the unborn mind, right? And then
Yeah,
you know what is a true you and what is a born mind. And from that moment, you know who you truly are. From the
yeah,
you know who you truly are. From that moment, you live with the unborn, right? And then along the way, liberate the born mind, right? That is a process
yeah.
of waking up, right? And until
Right.
finally, boom, and you merge in
And
awakened world.
when when you say your true self, right? And correct me if I'm wrong. Buddhism believes in reincarnation, correct?
Yes.
So your true self, is this the true self? Is this your soul that has experienced the various lifetimes? Is that your true self?
No, that's not true self. That is mean the ego system. The ego system went
Okay.
through each lifetime, right? Lifetime. But the
Yeah.
true self is mean unborn mind. The mind have no ego at all, right? See, you see
Fresh.
that is an unborn mind, right? That's called true self. But that is not final yet. But that is the beginning, the
Yeah.
beginning, right? And then from when you merge into the final, it's a final state to become the enlightenment. And from that moment, you merge to back to the awakened source. And then from there,
Right.
liberate all the ego system. And then from there, five natures appear.
And how does one get started on the path where they're looking for enlightenment and to lose the ego part? Like, is there is when you're taking on, would you refer to people in your group as students? Is that would
Yes.
so somebody would like so somebody who works with you every day would be a student? Is there a process that you use to get them started on the path to losing the ego? And if there is, like, what steps do you recommend? That's, let's say it's me, and I said, okay, tomorrow I want to start figuring out who my true self is and lose my ego, but I don't know how. Where do
Okay.
I
Good.
start?
Good question. Have you ever in the state of when the sound of the car or the sound of the rain or the dog, right? Everything happening
Yeah,
around you, you still hear it. Have you ever
yeah,
know that? Or you
yeah,
see something but without any voice appear. You just know it. Even many things happening at the same time. Have you ever
yeah.
experienced about that?
I all the time,
Right,
and
okay.
I find it's hard for me to quiet all those things and to
Oh,
go back inside.
okay. Usually, even when that happening, right? Continue to connect back to that. Continue to live with that first. And then all the
Yeah,
voice here, you recognize but don't follow. Even many
right.
things appear, don't let the mind involve, right? The born mind involve and start to identity, right? You just
Yeah,
let it be, and start to recognize, to go back to live with that mind, right? That mind is mean the unborn mind. First, you
right.
need to go back to live with that unborn mind. And
And,
then
and do you have to train yourself to ignore those things?
good question. Usually, if someone they looking for the truth, They don't need to
Yeah.
train them for a lot. They just when awakening open for them, they can recognize right away. And from that moment, they can live with that. And then naturally they can let
Okay.
go all the voices within themselves because they know that is ego, cause the suffering,
Yeah.
become natural. But if someone is new, little bit training. But if someone already
Right.
searching for that answer for that question, will
Yeah.
become easy for them.
So somebody who's new, like what training would they receive, or what guidance would you give them to just put their foot on the path to start? Is it silence and like a more mindfulness and time where you can put all the distractions away and turn inside?
First is go back to the stillness, you know, just
Yeah.
be present, be yourself, right? And then from there, it's like settle down and be yourself. Don't try anything. And then from there, the unborn might appear. You can
Yeah.
recognize, right?
It'll show up on its own.
It show up, right? And then from
Yeah.
there, one might arise. Don't follow, and that is the first step for you to go back to connect back to the unborn. And when you connect
Yeah.
back to the unborn, and then even many things, the sound around, everything happening, you can recognize. You know it even without thinking, right? But
Yeah.
you get lost in that. Just go to recognize the knowing nature, right? The
Right.
listening nature, right? Just know that. And then all the thing happening around, just recognize. Don't follow. And continue to connect back to the unborn,
Just
right?
so you can acknowledge all those things that are happening around you, but don't focus on them.
Yes, don't focus on. But
Okay.
recognize the knowing nature. The knowing nature is a you. You go back to deal with that.
Yeah.
And then
And
that never change. The knowing nature never change. Always there.
yeah,
But
it's always
the
there.
born mean, the born mind always change. Up and down, in and out, right? That's not you.
Yeah.
Just let it be. You know it, but don't associate with it. And then connect back to the knowing nature and live with that one. That is a
And when I'm starting to put my ego away and I'm making progress, how do I hang on to that progress? Because that's where I get lost all the time. Like I'll do really well for days at a time, and then I'll just fall into some old habits, or I'll just do stuff that's distracting and has nothing to do with anything that puts me on my path to the thing I'm looking for.
yes,
And like I said before, I go in and out of it. And I think part of the problem is sometimes I'm good at acknowledging when I'm on the path. I'm not good at acknowledging when I'm off the path because I'm distracted. How do I when I enter that world of where I know that I've put both sides of the ego away and I'm back to my true self, like I touch on it and sometimes it's just for a second. How do I get that to last longer? That's the problem I have. And I and
yes,
and I love the fact that I'm lucky enough to speak to you and you can share your thoughts on it. And I would love to hear what you think.
yes. Usually, you the more you connect back to the unborn, because at first,
Yeah.
usually the unborn always there, right? But sometimes you don't
Yeah.
know. You need to connect back. You need to connect back and live with that more often. The more you
Yeah.
connect back to that, the more you will know who you truly are. That is you. But when you
Yeah.
know you connect back, right? And all the voices within yourself, you start to realize it's not you. And you no
Yeah.
longer follow. You still live like
Right.
normal. You still interact. You still talk. You still cook. You still prepare everything. But you know who you truly are. And you connect back to the
Yeah.
unknown, right? And then you not
Right.
feed the ego at all. Because you know the ego is not you. Therefore, they
The
arise.
ego's hungry all the time though, right? It's hungry.
That's
And it's
true.
always
But
it's always asking for food. It's like my dogs.
that's true. Yeah.
I can't eat
You
in
know
my kitchen without my dogs just sitting next to me staring at me.
But you
And it's
know,
that
but the
same feeling.
ego is just a habit energy. It's not real you. That's still illusion. But
Yeah.
because for a long time we live with that ego, we believe that us, and then we
Yeah.
never have a chance to go back to live with the real us, right? The real you. Therefore,
Right.
now I can help you to go back to live with the real you. The more you live with real you, the more you will know. Oh, that's me. And then
And that happens through repetition.
repetition. Yes, you need to. At
Just
first, you need to do that. repetition. And then also along the way, if you have a chance to meet awakened one, and
Yeah.
easy for awakened one to right time, I will show you, I will open, I will wake you up, right? I will, I will give
Yeah.
many tools for you. But first, people need to experience about that first. And after that,
Yeah.
depending on situation, because each person different personality, different kind of ego, different they appear in different way. Therefore, if you are in front of awakened ones, it's easy for me to show you right away.
Yeah.
Spontaneous, to open, to wake up and then, oh, you need to have that
Right.
more time. And then the more you,
Yeah.
and then fall apart, and right away you say, oh, and then the moment you recognize unborn, right? Oh, and then the born, right? Oh, you see at the same time. And then they are
Yeah.
separation. And then from that moment, it gives you more motivation to move forward.
Yeah.
If
And
not,
the more I see it, the more I can't unsee it.
yes, that's true. And then give you
Yeah.
more motivation to move. And until
Right.
you know who you truly are, for a long time we think we are our ego. Therefore, we
Yeah.
fear losing that because we don't know. Up until the moment you know, oh, I'm not that. I'm in the
Yeah.
unborn mind, I'm the awakened one source. And then from that moment, it's naturally losing, the ego losing. And then the unborn appear within yourself, become natural. You can live with that
Yeah.
unborn natural. You don't try, it become natural. And then along the way, to merge back to the source, awaken one source, the Buddha source, right?
Right.
And then the moment you go back there, it's all the system fall apart. And then
Yeah.
you are free. And from that moment you lead, but the manifest by fire nature, but not manifest by the ecosystem. You still
Yeah.
lead
And how,
when leading.
how do I know when when I'm connecting with my true self? Because there are times where I feel like I'm connected, but there are also times I feel like I'm lying to myself about who I am or something like that, which is the
You know why?
ego.
Get
My
hijacked. The ego hijacked. You don't know. That's when you
yeah.
need a little bit time in order to separate between the unborn and ego, the born mind, because the ego hijack so fast. How do you know?
Yeah.
That's the more you are clear, the more you are separation, the more awaken one
Right.
awaken your Buddha potential. You live with that. When you live with
Yeah.
that, and then the ego hijack, you know right away. But when you don't,
Yeah.
like ego hijack, and then you don't know, you think, oh, maybe that unborn or that awakened mind,
Yeah.
but really the ego already operate.
How do I get better at knowing when the ego is hijacking everything?
The more you live with the unborn, the more you connect with the
Okay.
unborn, the more you separate with
I
the
can see it better on both sides at that point.
yes, the more you connect with
Okay.
the unborn, and you will
So
see.
I need to connect with my true self more often.
Yes,
And once I get comfortable with who that true self is,
yes,
I have a better ability to recognize when I'm being hijacked by the ego.
yes, yes.
Okay.
And,
That makes
and
sense now. All right. Perfect.
excellent. Wow.
So with the five natures, and I have some notes here, so I apologize. Normally, I'm not looking at notes, but
Yes.
you're important enough to have some notes. And I understand that there's a few things. There's infinite wisdom, boundless compassion. Is the infinite wisdom the part of losing the ego? Is that that's the first part of it?
Oh, when infinite compassion is being that moment only appear when you become a Buddha, when you become
Okay.
enlightened. Yes,
And what does that mean to have infinite compassion? Is it to care about all beings?
yeah. From that moment, the ego disappear, right? And then from there,
Yeah.
true love appear. It naturally love all people without, discrimination.
Yeah.
It's without condition. It's a true
Right.
love here, and then you can see them as they
And that goes for all beings, like animals, insects, everything.
are beings.
Why
Yes.
why do I why do I why do I feel like I have infinite compassion for animals and bugs and stuff like that, but people are so much harder?
Yeah, that's the condition.
Okay.
You see, that's the condition in there. You see compassion with animal, but not okay with But human, that's still condition.
Yeah.
That's not called infinite compassion. That's still
Okay.
condition.
And does that infinite compassion come from trying to get an understanding of what and who that other person is?
No,
And no?
no, that is still in human mind, in the human system. The infinite
Okay.
will come from become enlightenment. It means from that moment you become awakened, and then liberate all the human system, and from there infinite compassion appear. You try to understand still in the human system.
Yeah. And I think part of what my problem is I'm trying to have compassion versus having compassion.
Yes, yes.
Like it's work for me to be compassionate sometimes. And I'll put this on a kind of a weird level. If I have a bug in my house, right? Let's say it's a spider. I'll go out of my way to capture that spider and walk him outside and say goodbye to him. But if it's an ant or a fly, I feel the urge to eradicate them from my house. And 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 it's weird because if I see the same bugs outside, I don't have the same urge. And why can't I apply that same compassion to the bug that I dislike?
Yes.
And I know it's kind of a weird path I'm going on, but why can I show compassion to the spider, but I can't show it to the fly?
Yeah, because the inside still have condition. Some conditions
Yeah.
still right inside, right? Like when you
Yeah.
become awakened, like the sun, right? The sun shine. They don't
Yeah.
pick to shine who, right? To shine who, to
Yeah.
shine who, to
Shines
shine
on
who.
everybody.
Yeah, for everybody. See, when you become a Buddha awakened, you shine everybody. But if you the sun not shine yet, see, still limited. And then we only
Yeah.
shine for this, but we don't shine for that. Deep inside, still ego, still inside. The ego still there.
Yeah. So should I
Some
save that
people,
fly? I can't stand them.
yes, and then you cannot try to train yourself to do compassion, right? Compassion is
Yeah.
right. Wisdom
I gotta
is
have it or not have it.
yeah, you have or you don't
Ah,
have
it's
it.
so hard.
Yes,
It's so hard to do that.
you have it, not hard. When you reach the final destination, it will come natural for you.
Yeah, but it's a long process to get there.
Not
So
long.
how do I get better at expressing compassion to all folks? Like, obviously, once you're enlightened, it's going to happen on its own, but I have to do some sort of steps to allow myself to be compassionate. Does that make sense? I'm not sure if I'm phrasing my question the right way.
Along the way, you have some
Yeah.
hint about compassion,
Hmm.
but it's hard to see because the ego is still in there, right? Therefore, they hijack. You don't know, but truly
Yeah.
along the way until you become a Buddha, become awakened, you have some hint for you to know
Yeah.
because you
And can I
become
share a
more.
story with you?
Hmm?
Can I share a story with you about compassion? I had two things happen to me within an hour of each other. And it was essentially the same situation, but I reacted differently to both. I want to say about a year and a half ago, I pulled up to a Wawa gas station to get gas. And there was a gentleman outside. He was driving a very expensive Mercedes, and he had three little kids in the back. And he came up to me and he's like, "Hey, can you loan me some money?" And I looked at him and I said no. And then he asked again and I said no. And then I saw the kids in the back of the car and he was explaining to me how he had lost his wallet and he didn't have his phone with him, so he couldn't get home. And I look in the back seat and I see this little girl. There's three little girls, and the girl's like, "Can you please help us?" And I said, I don't know this guy. Like, I don't know if he's scamming me or whatever. But I said, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to go with it. And I go inside and I took $200 out of the ATM. I came outside and I just handed it to him. And he starts taking off his Rolex watch, like all this expensive jewelry, and he hands it to me. And I said, no. And I said, just make sure you get home. And his response to me was, what's your name? I'm going to pray for you every day. I felt pretty good. And I was driving down the road and I'm like, I don't know if that guy scammed me or whatever, but doing that nice thing felt great. And maybe a half hour later, I stopped at a mall to get lunch and there was a guy outside. And figure I just gave this guy $200. This other person comes up to me and he's like, "Can I borrow $1 from you?" I need to take the bus. And I looked at him and said no. And I judged that based on the fact that he looked like he was a little disheveled. He looked like he was a drug addict. And it was essentially the same situation. And I was mad at myself for treating the one person different versus the other. And in retrospect, I wish I had the compassion to say, okay, and treat them both the same way, but I wasn't able to based on probably my conditioning, like you're talking about. Now it's starting to make sense. And based on the conditioning of what that guy represented in my head based on previous experiences.
Yes, yes.
How do I get
You
past that?
know, because you store something inside the program inside your head already, and then
Yeah.
when you see something not exactly what you program inside, you see you store
Yeah.
inside your head. Right away you respond. You respond based on what you store in your head.
Yeah. It was a subconscious response.
Yes, that's subconscious response. That's when you become awakened, that disappear. All
Right.
the
That
thing
subconscious response was part of my ego.
that's part of your ego. But when you become
Yeah. Say
awakened,
goodbye to it.
yes. But when you become awakened, it's naturally just gone. And from that
Yeah.
moment, you can see things as they are. You know exactly who are they at that moment. You give or you don't
Right.
give, but you're still free. Compassion is
But
something you have to give or you don't give, right? Give or not
right.
give, you know exactly what to do at that moment. You know who they are. You know who are
Yeah.
they and what to do. But from
Yeah.
love, and that moment is so powerful.
And so in my head, I did something really nice and immediately erased it by doing something not so nice.
Yes.
And I wasn't mean in any way, but I didn't care to hear what this guy's story was and who he was and what his problems were.
Mm.
And he might have been the nicest guy in the world, and I didn't see him for his true self. I understand the part where the ego is, and I can move in either sides of that and see who my true self is. How do you get better at seeing what the other person's true self is? Is that even part of it, or is that? But is there a
The
process, or
more
it's all part of the same process?
the more you go back to the unborn, the more you
Yeah,
connect the unborn from other. It's
yeah,
naturally the more you go back to the unborn, the more you will see the storage, the thing you storage, inside your storage, it will
yeah.
start to fall apart,
Right.
fall apart along the way.
Yeah,
That's why the more you connect back to the unborn, the more you can see the
yeah.
things in your storage.
And it's interesting because I have thought about that situation so many times, and this is the first time I've described it as myself being in the wrong. And and it took a conversation with you to bring it out of me. And like I have described it to other people, and the first part of the story, I'm a hero, did the right thing, I was so nice. And then the other part, I was the complete opposite, and I really needed to be somewhere in the middle with both of them, I think, and found a better way. And I'm sure that guy got home at some point, but I regret the way I acted in that situation. So now I have an understanding of why I reacted that way. And
Good.
the fact that I have an understanding of it is amazing, because next time I have a similar situation, I'll probably analyze it a little bit different and probably
Yes.
approach it from a different angle.
Yes. But still
And thank you
inside
for opening
that.
my eyes to that.
But still
I
inside,
appreciate that.
right?
Yes, and it's so hard. Like you go through life trying to be a good person to as many people as you can, but I think what happens is, to your point, you have that conditioning of people treating you a certain way or acting a certain way in certain situations. And for me, I think the hardest part is saying goodbye to that subconscious part where I'm really focused on previous experiences.
No, you cannot say goodbye like someone if we close. We blind. Whatever we
Yeah,
do, we still do from our blind, right? But
yeah,
you can't. You only goodbye when you open your eyes and
yeah,
everything clear in front of you, right? Like that.
right,
It's because we still live in ignorance, and therefore,
yeah,
and when you wake up, gone. All
yeah,
the here gone. See things
all
clear.
gone.
Yes, it's just naturally gone, like dream work. All the
Yeah.
things in here, just when the moment you wake up, all gone.
And I feel like I've just had a moment where I was able to wash that away while we were talking. And
Mm.
how do I guess my thought process is I have to build on that every day and keep doing that type of work. And how do I, in the moment of having a conversation, realize it? And that is just through more of the same process of doing the same things.
Yes, every moment go back to live with the unborn more.
Yeah.
And the more you connect to the unborn, the easy for you to see the born mind in any situation. Wherever
Yeah.
you are, you still do that. From now on,
Right.
wherever you are, you walk, you eat, you drink, you cook, you talk, wherever you are, still continue to go back to live with the knowing nature, right? And then from that,
Yeah.
all the voices appear within yourself, you start to recognize. And
Yeah.
then from there, okay, will lead you to the final destination.
And it's crazy because I'm digging for some crazy answer from you, but and you make it sound so easy.
Yes.
And I'm sure it's not easy, but it's probably not as hard as I think it is to at least be on the path,
Yes, yes,
right?
yes,
And
that's
and
true.
and and that's the hardest part is I think I need to start acknowledging how I'm when I'm on the path and when I am staying on the path and when I deviate from the path and
Mm,
when my ego takes control of a situation versus and sometimes in that moment where the ego's taken over, I know it's wrong and I
yes.
still react the same exact way. It's
You know
and
why?
yeah,
Because you didn't connect back to the unborn yet. You didn't live
yes,
with the unborn yet. The more you live with the unborn, is naturally the ego system starts to fall apart. Become natural.
yeah,
Don't try to change the ego or try to destroy the ego. No, because they are not real. The ego is not
yeah,
real. But because we do not go back to the unborn yet, therefore the ego
yeah,
is still right and we act that way, like repetition, repetition, right? But the more you
yeah,
go back to the unborn, and then naturally it's the ego just start to fall apart. And you start to
yeah,
know, oh, I'm not that ego. I'm the unborn mind. You start to know for your own.
yeah.
Oh, and from that moment you continually with the unborn mind. You see, and from that
And
moment, it's that the ego no longer control you.
is 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 this a process that takes a long time
Yeah,
obviously it's different for every person, but is there like you can't do it overnight, I don't think. It's not right. It takes time.
very good. Take time, but depend on each person's intention. For some
Yeah.
people, if someone they are real with the question, they know who they truly are, they're searching for the answer for the question, they doubt the ego
Yeah.
system, not long. It's so quick. But if
And
someone they have no idea, okay, take time
yeah.
to know, right? Depend on each person.
And it's interesting. It's almost like I have to acknowledge when the universe is talking to me. And like for example, last night I was sitting there thinking about something. And it's a bad habit, whatever I was thinking about, and it's not big enough to share. But I realize it whenever I'm doing it. And then I get mad at myself. I can't stop myself on the front side. And last night I was dwelling on it. And all of a sudden in my head, the thought goes off. It says, oh, this is the universe warning me that something is eventually going to be bad with whatever this thing is if you don't correct it or nip it in the bud. And so I all of this sounds like I really have to open my eyes and pay attention when the things are in front of me that I should pay attention to
Mm,
versus the things that are distractions and taking me to other places. And I know that the balanced compassion is part of this process and then pure essence. And if you could tell me what that means to you, pure essence, um, to me, the term means uh, clean and pure and not tainted by impurities. And impurities could be thoughts or anything. But that's what it means to me in my head.
This means when you are in a awake world, you are with the universal. You are out, but you're here. You see,
Yeah.
everywhere. It's not disturbed by nothing. That means awakened essence. It's
Yeah.
when you are free. You here, but you know everything, everywhere. Disturb
Right.
nothing. And then
And
wherever, when I'm here, I know everything, right?
yeah.
I can force them even no space and no time. I can talk to people. I wake up people from Vietnam or everywhere, even they are everywhere, but I'm still awaken their Buddha potential. I know
Yeah.
exactly why. You see, it's the awakened essence everywhere, here but everywhere, and then
Yeah.
in there produce fine nature. That's
And so
practice
with
awakening.
awakening, like there are moments, and I've noticed over the years, the closer I get to some of these things, if I'm having a conversation with somebody, when I feel like I'm connected, I have the ability to answer questions I've never thought about before.
Mm,
And to me, when I was setting up this second conversation with you, I had messaged your folks and I said, I'm not quite sure what topic I want to talk about. And the response was, talk about anything you like. Master will have the ability to talk about it. And I found that amazing because it made me think of those moments where I know I'm connected and I'm having a conversation with somebody and thoughts pour out of me to answer their questions, but I've never ever put any thoughts into it before. And is that what it's like for you all the time?
yes, but for example, when you connect to awakened one, can you describe what you connect the most naturally?
Naturally, I connect when it's conversations about life, and it's in particular with my kids or my students, because I own a Brazilian jiu-jitsu school. I teach people how to fight for a living,
Mm,
which kind of goes against the whole compassion thing. But we all like each other, so I guess it still falls in there.
mm,
But when I'm having a conversation, like I was talking to my daughter, I have four kids. I have a 27-year-old girl, a 20-year-old son, and twins that are a boy and a girl that are 18. And I was talking to my 27-year-old, and she's finally got that job that she's always wanted. And there's
mm,
a 45-minute drive that she drives every day. And she's the type of person that 2 seconds into traffic, she's losing her mind, like yelling at everybody, honking the horn, like a complete insane person. And I said, you realize you're going to be stuck in traffic every day. And you understand that you're going to be stuck in traffic. So why don't you make that productive and enjoy the process of being stuck in traffic and find time to be mindful and get inside your head? And none of this I had ever thought about before, but we had a very extensive conversation. And at the moment, I felt very connected. And then other times I couldn't answer that question no matter how hard I try. And, and that's the part I have the most difficulty with is when it's on and when it's off. And
yes.
to your point, I think I just need to connect more often and understand when I'm connected so I can understand when I'm
But
disconnected.
with our works, naturally, what you connect to awaken one the most is naturally with our works. When you
Yeah.
talk to me, it naturally what? You say so, I will open for you. It's naturally what?
Yeah, it just automatically opens up because I when I'm speaking with you, I understand that I could probably say anything I want and you would not have negative thoughts about what I say. You would have an open mind to whatever it is and not draw conclusions or try to figure out who I am based on how I'm acting if you have a really good idea of a true understanding of who I am.
Mm, mm. And then
So when
also,
speaking to you, it just kind of opens up on its own.
and also, you see, it's a what when you talk to awaken one, you feel what is your destination when you talk to me. You feel the destination in there.
Yes, I
What
do.
destination?
The destination is being comfortable with myself and understanding who I am and having these abilities to treat people the way they should be treated and act be a better person is really what it comes down to. Is, I have moments that I'm just an amazing person on, and I'm going to pat myself on the back, where I feel like I'm wonderful in certain situations, and then
Mm,
other situations I'm not wonderful at all. I'm the complete opposite.
mm.
And that's my struggle that I have all the time, and that's probably what most people struggle with.
Yes. And also you feel that when you talk to awakened one, awakened will give you the answer for your question. If
Yeah.
you for something you're searching for, you're looking
Right.
for,
And
you
yeah.
see?
And
And that is
yeah.
the question you have. When you met awakened one, you feel like awakened will answer your question. Right?
Yes.
But the
And
question is searching.
like last time we talked about like opening doors, and that was
Yes.
part of the conversation. It's
Mm.
almost like when I talk to you, it's and this doesn't diminish what you mean, what you are or anything like that, but it's almost like you're the doorman, and you're opening the door a little bit for me so I can look through to the other side. And then when you're gone, that door's shut. I can't get back in the
True.
building.
But and then along the way, I will help you to open the door and you in. You
Yeah.
in, no longer out. But first, at least you say the door open, okay, okay, and finally you jump in and do
Yeah.
that like
It's
that.
almost like it's finally like, here's your keys. You
Yes,
have your own key. You can let yourself in whenever you
absolutely.
want.
Yes, yes,
But at the beginning, it's you opening the door and just
yes,
let me get a glimpse, and then you know keep this process up. And that door, you have full control of the door yourself.
yes. And until the final moment, you say, "Oh, that is a final," and then you jump in.
Yeah.
Done. That is a
It,
final.
and I'm a long way off from that, but I feel like I'm getting there, and I appreciate it. Um,
Very clear,
oh,
right? Wow, you are very clear. You know what are you looking for, right? But the
I,
door
I,
from now on, because Awakened One will let you see something. Open the door for you, open the door for you,
yeah,
and open the door for you, give you a chance to continue. But
yeah,
later, after you didn't talk to Awakened, you still know how to open the door. Continue to
right.
open the door, and then until finally jump in. Done. You
It does the
hit
door go away?
your recognition.
It's like the door just comes off the hinges, and now I can just walk in and out whenever I want, or I can just walk in and stay.
You are free from that moment. The door you're not
Yeah,
closed. But at first, the open, close, open, close, open, close. But later, open naturally, open naturally in your daily
yeah,
life. When you eat, when you talk, when you walk, when you interact, the door still open, open, open. And Awakening will guide you until one day, finally, completely
yeah.
open, and you enter freely into that world,
Right.
become awakened.
And for to be awakened, there's I guess awakened tools where you respond
Mm.
spontaneously to conditions. And when you're reacting, and this kind of goes to the part where you could talk about any topic, right? You're responding to the conditions that I'm describing and having an answer. And same as me when I'm talking to somebody who's less connected. And
Yes.
and that's really what it is I'm not fully connected, but with my kids, I'm slightly more connected than they are. Right.
Mhm.
So I may not be holding the door open. I'm looking through the little peephole into the house, but a lot of the times I feel like I'm ahead of them in the path. Obviously, I'm way far behind you and where you're at, but what kind of tools can you use on a daily basis? Obviously, mindfulness. I had a gentleman on a few months ago. His name was Marco Calorico, and he rode a bicycle around the world 17,000 kilometers over 8 years. And he would stay at monasteries and Buddhist temples and different things. And he was telling me about mindfulness. He was in I think it was a monastery, so it wasn't a Buddhist temple, but they weren't allowed to speak unless it was about the thing that they're doing at the moment. So if like they were cooking, they could talk about the utensils, they could talk about the food, the textures, whatever it was. And I said to him, and I said, when you eat dinner, are you allowed to just talk about the food? And he said, yes. And I said, does that make the food taste that much better? And he said, absolutely, because you're completely focused on it. And so I take that as a goal of mine to be mindful enough where I appreciate all of those little moments. And I spend a lot of time when I'm not connected, I'm missing all those moments. But the days when I am connected, I'm absorbing those, and they're as tiny as they are, like the smallest moments, I'm acknowledging and saying, okay, I have an appreciation for it. Like, for example, I walk my dogs every night a couple miles. No matter what I do, if it's raining, snow, whatever, I still take them for their walks. And most nights in the summertime, I can time the sunset to where I'm walking. And it's around this, a hospital that's near me. There's a path that goes around it. And I ran over there last night with my dogs just so I could catch the sunset. And I posted it online and I said, I'm thankful for these moments every time they present themselves. But a couple years ago, I would have not even acknowledged that that was a moment for me. And is that what mindfulness is to you?
Yes, but for awakened one, truly I don't have any tool, but I have all tool because it
Yeah.
depends in front of me.
Yeah.
I will know exactly what tool for that person. Sometimes if we hold on to some tool, it's still stuck. That's going to depend on
Yeah.
each person. When people are appearing, each person, uh, some need that, some need this in order to become awakened.
Yeah.
That's one I
So
don't have a specific
it's
tool for.
almost it's almost like being a master mechanic. Like you have this
Yes,
giant toolbox with all the drawers. And right now I'm the guy with a hammer and everything looks
yes,
like a nail. And I'm just hitting
that's
a
true.
hammer on everything.
That's true. Yes, like that. That's all. That's what we
Okay, that makes a lot more sense to me.
100%. You got it.
All right, so I got to put the hammer down
That's
and reach
yes.
for some other tools once in a
Open,
while.
and then that moment is naturally appear. Even the wake one didn't prepare any tool for anybody, just like the mirror. Whoever appear in front of me, and then
Yeah,
yeah, the tool appear.
you know which tool. It
Yeah,
shows
it
up.
naturally appear. I don't think, not just appear. And then the
Yeah,
tool appear for this person. Each tool is a freely, but just appear and then disappear. Appear,
yeah.
disappear. And then
And
nothing.
I recall from our last conversation where you said you from the time you were born, you knew you were different. But were these skills that you always had, or you had to still develop them? Because I think you said somewhere around 21 you became fully awakened.
I
And
only have that tool when I become awakened. Before
okay,
I before I didn't. I know it, but I cannot manifest the tool.
yeah,
Because deep inside I'm still completely go home yet, become awakened yet. And the system not fall apart yet, not completely
yeah,
destroy it. Therefore I can't, even I know, but I don't know what to do. That's why, but I know when I go home, it's naturally will happen. The moment I
yeah.
become awakened, it's naturally appear.
Right. You
And
trust in it and know
yes,
exactly what it is when you see it.
exactly. I don't think it's a naturally appear in each person and then right away appear right away. This hammer, hammer. This is
Yeah.
a scissor, scissor. This is knife, knife.
Right.
Something just appear, but then
And
awaken that person.
do you recall who you were before you became fully awakened? Like, are you still that person or are you somebody completely different? And the reason I'm asking,
Very good question.
I was talking to somebody the other day and I was talking about how I'm on my own path. And I've been on, I feel like I've been on it for like 5 or 6 years and I kind of dabbled in it all the times before that. And when I'm trying to think of the best way to describe this, when I look back at my life prior, and I'll tell you what happened. About 5 years ago, I quit drinking, and I had walked around telling, like, my oldest daughter had gotten a DUI, a drunk driving, and I said, you know what, I'll quit drinking with you. And I acted like I was a hero, and I was doing it for the right reasons. Like anybody that asked, I was a hero. Like I was quitting for my daughter. And it turns out I really needed to quit, and I didn't admit it to myself. And then one day I did. But it took me that moment to realize that I was on this path, but I also have trouble remembering things about who I was prior to quitting drinking and changing who I was. So I have moments where, like, if I look at my childhood, I'll remember certain memories, but not a lot of them. Like it's almost, and I'm not blocking anything out from any trauma. I know that. But I almost feel like once I got on the path, I'm not that guy anymore, and those memories are not important. And maybe that's the ego, and the subconscious that I'm just kind of letting go.
Because you along the way you transform different form with same
Yeah.
system, but you are still same system, but
Yeah.
transform different form along the way. But when
Okay.
one become awakened, and the system completely disappear,
Yeah.
not transform different form. You see, for you all,
Yeah.
it's transform different form, but still inside the system.
Yeah.
But when you become awakened, you out of the system,
Out of the system.
completely out of the system, and the system completely fall apart. And
And
you,
and by system, like, is that just the layers of life? Because there's so many layers to everything, it seems,
yes,
anymore.
yes, the
Eh,
system. But because if you are inside the system, even people along the way when they grow up, right? They
Yeah.
practice transform, yeah, transform the form. The form can transform. Form can transform, right? They change form.
Yeah.
But still inside the system, you see it?
Yeah.
You see
So the
it?
system still controls them, even though they think they're outside of it.
Yes, even the is the form change, right? The transformation change. But because they are
Yeah.
still same person, same system, but different transformation. But when you become
Yeah.
awakened, you out, completely out of the system and break through the
Yeah.
system. And the system no longer you.
And
You
and
become
it's it's amazing when I'm talking to you, because I get visuals of certain things. Like in this conversation about the system. Like I watched a video a few months ago as a bunch of cows that were abused. And they lived on a farm, but they were always inside.
yes.
And they moved them and they put them in a pasture, and the cows got out and they were so excited to be out, but they didn't realize they were still within the fence and they were still
That's
within the system.
yes, yes, something like that. But when you become
Yeah.
awakened, you out system, and
Yeah.
the
Their fence is gone.
That's true, gone. And then you
Yeah.
gone, you, the system completely gone, and you
Right.
become awakened. You are free.
Yeah.
And then the system no longer control you.
Right. And these cows were so happy, but they didn't realize they were still stuck.
Got it. That's true.
Yeah. So
Wow.
everything I've gotten from this conversation is learning when to acknowledge when I'm on the outside of
Yes.
the fence.
Yeah, that's true. It's naturally, it's mean you out. You
Yeah.
completely out of the system and you liberate the system.
Yeah.
And then from there you become awakened. And
Yeah.
then
And one of my things I like to
finally,
do is make a lot of analogies so things make sense for me. Like
yes.
I basically go uh I dumb things down for myself to make sense. And 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 when I describe them to you and I see that you understand what I'm saying, I really appreciate it.
Got it.
So what advice can you give me to help acknowledge myself, help to acknowledge when I'm stepping outside of the system? Like I know there's different tools and processes like meditation, journaling, uh, moments of mindfulness. If you were to give me any one tool to start with, and you said, okay, put the hammer away and stop beating on everything with the hammer. Try this for a minute. What would be your suggestion
Okay.
as to how to get on the path?
Okay. The question I ask you now. Truly, do you know awakened mind is you yet?
I don't think so. I think I
You
get
truly
close to it sometimes. Like I can touch it, but it's not solid yet.
okay. If the true awakened give it to you right now, pay attention to your real, your unborn, and then
Yeah.
see is it you. You are that, or you are the ego.
Yeah.
That is the homework for you. The more you can
Okay.
do that, the easier for me to help you next. Because you need to
Yeah.
know who you truly are. If you know who you truly are, and then easy
Yeah.
for me to guide you.
So pay attention.
Yes, pay attention to the real you. And then
Yeah.
aware, you don't need to try to say, oh, I am this, I'm not this. You just pay attention to
Just
know
be it.
more about you. Yes, be it, live with
Yeah.
it, connect with back with that. And then, is it you? Is it me? Or, and then the voice appear. See, It's
Yeah.
true or not? Check for yourself everywhere. When you walk, when you eat, wherever you are, when you talk, always know for yourself. It's you.
Yeah.
It's you. It's me. It's me. Or that is me. Ego is me. Or that is me. That is the thing you need to do
I love it. I appreciate
now.
that. And if you don't mind, I would love to have another conversation with you sometime down the road. I enjoy it. And I appreciate you laughing at my dumb jokes and stuff like that. So it's super appreciated. Um, and we're about an hour into this. I will use that tool and I will be mindful of when I'm in and out of those moments and try to not force them because I think that's what happens sometimes.
Yes.
Right? I'm taking a square peg and sticking it in a round hole and it doesn't fit and I'm got my hammer out again and I'm beating on it and I'm beating on it and I'm beating on it and I have to sit back and be able to acknowledge when it's happening and if it doesn't fit, don't force it
Yes.
and,
Yes.
and allow it to
Yes.
happen.
And any
Yeah.
voice appear within yourself, recognize but don't follow. Emotional
Yeah.
voice, recognize, don't follow. And can recognize what can see the thoughts, what can see the emotional, what can see, just know what is this, what can
Yeah.
see and continue to live with that, continue to connect back to that. And then
Yeah.
in there you see, is it you? That is you? Or the
Yeah.
voice within your head is you? The emotional is you? What is you? From there,
Yeah.
the door will
And
open.
and a lot of the times it feels like there's two in there. Like one that's giving me the solid advice that I don't listen to, and then the other one who's the ego is like, you should do this. And I have to get better at paying
That's true.
attention to the
Yeah,
one that's
but even
putting me on the path.
even you in there, right? But deep inside, you don't know who you truly are yet, right?
Yeah.
Even you are you, but
Yeah.
truly who you truly are.
But this conversation's got me in the right direction. So so I truly appreciate it. Where can anybody find your book? And if you could just repeat the name of the book. And I know you have your group in I think it's California. Like what's the group? And honestly, and real quick side story. Last time we talked, I said, what does somebody do to come visit and be part of your events and stuff? And you're like, just show up. And I was like,
Yes.
That's kind of weird. There's a Hindu temple in Robbinsville, New Jersey. It's the third largest in the world. And I've always had the urge to go to it. And about a month ago, I went. I was the only Caucasian guy there. And I was in awe of how beautiful everything was. And to me, I was looking up for days, like, how much does it cost to go see this? And then I finally called and I'm like, I don't see the prices anywhere. Like, just show up. I'm like, just show up. Like, you're going to be nice to me with nothing required. Like, it was hard to believe.
You will know at that moment. Just show up, and you will know that at that moment.
Yes.
You
And,
will know
and
what
that's what
action will give to you in order to
yeah.
make you up, right?
And so I appreciated all that. And I interrupted on like where you can find your information if you could share that.
Yes,
And again,
you see, you said the book. The book is the power of awake, right?
yeah.
That is the book. On the Universal Door Meditation Center in
Okay.
Sugar Land, Texas.
Awesome. All
And
right. I thought it was California, but it's Sugar Land.
uh,
It's amazing. You are a wonderful person to speak to. You have opened my eyes to many things during this conversation, and I'm sure you saw when I acknowledged those moments. And that's one of my favorite things about doing these podcasts and talking to amazing people is that I always have a moment where I can connect with things that are inside my head or inside my heart. And
you
I
know,
appreciate you.
I not only open your eyes, but I can
Yeah.
walk you through the destination. I can
Yes.
walk you all through the final destination in
Yeah.
order to be truly happy and truly free. Disturb and
And
nothing.
I appreciate that about you. And I 100% believe that. So hang on one sec. I'm just going to wrap up and then I just want to chat with you for one more sec. So bear with me.